listening to the Esq Marketing Podcast, hosted by Matthew Lauren, president of Esq Marketing, where he features successful solo and SMB law firms from all over the United States. Now, let's get started with the show.
Hey, I'm Matthew Lauren, president of Esq Marketing, and you're listening to the Esq Marketing Podcast, where I feature successful solo and SMB law firms from all over the United States. This episode is brought to you by Esq Marketing. We help law firms generate more clients and cases using search engine optimization. And speaking of successful law firms and lawyers in the legal profession, today I have the pleasure of speaking with Luciano Oliveira. Luciano has been in the legal field for more than a decade, and he is the founder of JurisOffice.com, which is a law firm directory for attorneys. Luciano, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Matthew. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. It's cool to have professionals besides just attorneys on the show, and you're unique because you have the legal directory, which a lot of attorneys can get a lot of benefit out of for marketing their law firm. So super cool to have you.
Thank you.
So can you tell me a little bit more about what Juris Office is all about?
Yes, and just as a compliment, I myself, I am also an attorney, right? So I'm an attorney licensed in Texas. I'm also an attorney from Brazil. And the idea to get Juris Office in the market was because I saw that most of the directories, they were kind of more business oriented than actually attorney oriented. And I said, I wish they were better. So instead of just, keep wishing, I came up with the idea for Juris Office. And Juris Office, so it's done by, a lawyer for lawyers. And that could be the first differentiation. And when you have like venture capital, when you have like most of the directories, such as super lawyers and Avo and so on, like they're really, thinking about getting the most out of their, subscribers. And that's not the idea that we have at Juris Office. So Juris Office has, even like free packages. If you are a solo attorney, if you have, just a couple of years of practice, maybe you cannot afford like the most expensive directories. And Juris Office has even like a free version for solo attorneys. There are premium plans, but the premium plans, they are also affordable, like for a solo attorney, if you want to have the premium plan, which is going to give you a more, exposure, we charge only $29.99. Okay. And
nice.
if for law firms, there are also options for law firms, they go to $49.99. So, this is really affordable. So that would be another plus for our directory. We also provide our subscribers with do follow links.
Very important. Very important.
Yes, it helps with the search engine optimization a lot. We understand that like attorneys, they want to promote their websites. They want their websites to show up on the first pages of Google. So in addition to have like a stream of prospective clients coming from our directory, and our subscribers, they do get it a lot. And actually even us, like sometimes we have a prospective clients, saying, listen, can you help me with this specific case? And then we tell them, listen, we are not like an attorney, like we are a directory. So in this case, we gonna, tell them, listen, there are such attorneys who are our subscribers in your area, so you can, contact them directly. And in addition to that, our subscribers' websites are also going to show up higher on Google because they're getting the links, the do follow links from our directory. So that's just a quick overview about, Juris Office, Matthew.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I like two things that you said there. The first thing is the affordability of it and the accessibility of it compared to some of the more leading directories like Avo and Justia and FindLaw and some of those other ones, which, I think those are good ones, but there's really, you don't see a lot of variety in terms of like really decent directories that can give you some value that aren't like outrageously expensive. So that's really cool for solo law firms who are just kind of getting their feet wet, and they want to do some marketing, they want to get some exposure online, but there's not always an affordable option like you mentioned. And then the other thing was about the thought leadership, how you refer, so someone may be looking for an attorney and think Juris Office is a place that could help them when in fact you're the directory and not the law firm itself. And it gives attorneys a chance to display some thought leadership, right? Like if they have a profile on the site, maybe either you can refer them to those attorneys, or they could answer questions on the platform. I know some other directories have that functionality. I'm not sure if yours will, but being able to email people or respond to their questions in some way if they come to Juris Office first, and then you guys know a better professional that they could connect with.
Yes, that's a great idea. We are actually incorporating that as a feature. Right now, we are kind of doing it formally because, like I said, prospective clients, they do contact us. And of course, we're going to, send this business to our subscribers. But we are incorporating such a feature where, a prospective client can come to the website, ask a question about their specific needs, and then our subscribers would naturally, answer the question and hopefully get the business from this prospective client.
Yeah, that's a great lead generator. So Luciano, you kind of already answered this, but take me back to the beginning. When did you decide, or what made you decide that you wanted to build this law firm directory?
Sure. It was back in 2017, and I was basically setting up, my profile as an attorney. And I realized that they were, these companies, these major, directors, they were kind of, asking too much. I understand that law is a field where, attorneys, they make, some decent amount of money. So I kind of understand the price tag. But again, like I said, this is not true for every attorney. There are attorneys who are not making that much money. Just for instance,
of course.
Yeah, immigration attorneys. There are attorneys who work with social justice causes, and they do not make a lot of money. So
yeah, there's a spectrum, right? At one end, there's ones making a lot of money, and the other end, there's those that aren't. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly, and there are so many attorneys, for a directory business to be profitable and actually make a decent amount of money. We don't need to charge in the hundreds of dollars a range. I said, listen, if we have a couple of thousand subscribers, paying $10-20 a month, there would be some decent money, and we can keep a portion of this money as our profits. And we can still improve, the directory, keep developing, and we can deliver a lot of value to our subscribers. So that was a main driver. And I also have a technology background.
Okay.
I worked, in the past as a consultant for KPMG. So, this kind of technology business background was also, pushing me to offer something, technology oriented to the lawyers. And another thing, Juris Office is not only for U.S. attorneys, it's also for attorneys abroad. So that's another thing that comes probably from my background. I myself, I am an attorney both in Brazil and in Texas, right? So I have this kind of understanding that that the legal profession is kind of global, particularly now with the globalization. There are many cross-border cases, clients, and not only business. You have companies doing business internationally, but you also have, people with matters that are crossing borders. Just to give you an example, you have marriage and divorce cases with persons living in different countries. So in order for a case like that to be done or to be taken care, you need an attorney with legal capacity in both countries. So that's another differentiation for a Juris Office, because we give you an option to appear in multiple countries, or you could even be showing your profile in different languages as well.
Very cool, very cool. And it's neat that you were able to kind of marry your passions of law and technology and kind of and build this thing and come out with it for attorneys who, may not want to, have this enormous price tag for some, for building their online presence, basically. So that's really cool that you're able to serve that market and do it in a way that kind of builds on your passions. Not a lot of people get to do that.
Thank you, Matthew. Matthew, just to throw a question, for you, like in terms of directories, as you have like a number of directories and you're probably going to have new competitors in the near future, what would be your recommendation for a directory like ours, which is like a kind of in the more beginning stage? What would you recommend for us to grow in terms of size in members and to be able to eventually compete with larger directories, more established ones?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say, the thing that strikes me right now after what you've described to me is just focusing on providing value for the subscribers that you bring on board, and how best can you help them grow their businesses. And I think once you start to establish that reputation, the word of mouth will start to build, and other marketing websites, like our own, and other industry professionals will begin to say, hey, this is a directory where people are getting a lot of value, and share it with their friends. Attorneys will share it with their colleagues and other people in the industry. And I think when you focus on the customer first, and your subscribers, and you just focus on making a really great place for them to develop their online presence and build their practice and generate leads, I think the rest of that will come. You'll start to see the effect of that and start to compete with some of the more well-established directories out there. And then, obviously promotion and marketing will come into play, but, building that core reputation, I think, is really important.
I appreciate the recommendation, and it makes sense because we cannot just compete based on cash flow or cash, because like the larger directories, they really have a lot of cash burn. But that's not our philosophy. Our philosophy is actually to deliver value. So thank you for sharing. It sounds like we are on track.
Yeah. And I feel like sometimes it's you're in a better position competitive wise to a larger business because you can offer that personal service, and I think that's something that larger organizations really struggle with once they grow too large. And you see that all the time in any kind of vertical. Once a business gets to a certain size, they kind of lose touch with being able to provide personalized service or high quality service to their clients. And I think you got that going for you right now.
Got it. Makes sense.
So one final question that I have is, what's one piece of marketing advice that you'd give to new attorneys who are just starting their private practice and wanting to market themselves in some way online? What kind of advice would you give to them?
All right, yes, that's a great question. One thing for new attorneys that I think it's very difficult is like to have some budget for marketing. So I would say, use the social media as much as you can. Social media is free, right? It comes free. So I would, spend as much time on social media as possible. And of course, like in a business related manner, right? You could be writing your opinion about, legal topics on, LinkedIn. There are other, platforms, or even in Facebook. I mean, you're not providing advisory, like you shouldn't be providing advisory for free,
sure,
but, like to share your take on certain issues. And it's not uncommon for, new attorneys to acquire clients that way, right? Because they get exposure. People know that you are an attorney. Maybe someone from your past, learns about your practice, and they could hire, basically through a post that you just did on LinkedIn or Facebook. Another thing is to really try to spend some money on the directories. The directories, they do work, and particularly the most affordable ones. There's some free ones available, right? And later on, you can spend more money on the most expensive ones. But to get your name on the directories is going to bring a lot of, is going to really help your own profile to appear when people are searching for you. If you're not doing any efforts, like if you're not on social media, if you don't have your name in the directories, when people try to find an attorney in your area, they're not going to find you. They're going to find someone else, and it could be a case worth, I don't know, $10,000. So at the first sight, particularly for new solo attorneys, to spend money on marketing, it may sound like counterintuitive, but it's not the case. I mean, they should really, try to have some budget, even if it's not that much, but to spend on marketing, to kind of jumpstart their careers.
Yeah, that's great advice. And I like what you said there about spending time on social media and engaging and talking with people. I know I've seen attorneys be really successful at, picking a platform where they know their audience is present, like Facebook, LinkedIn, like you said, or even any kind of legal forum where they know consumers are looking for legal advice, and just putting helpful advice out there, or responding to questions, or just trying to be helpful in some way. Obviously not giving legal advice, but yeah, just answering questions as best as possible. And that kind of authority or thought leadership pays off in the future, because you not only get exposure on those different websites, but people remember that. They see the logo of your law firm, or they see the attorney name, and like, oh yeah, I remember that guy. He helped me. He answered that question that one time, or things like that. So yeah, that's great advice.
Absolutely. We are in new times. Like like 10 years ago, you would need to buy ads, traditional ads, like outdoors. You would need like your name on a bus, right? You would need the yellow pages, and these are very expensive, like, marketing strategies. Yeah. And today they don't work as well as they worked like 10 years ago. So it's actually, for new attorneys, new solo attorneys, like if they do their work in terms of marketing themselves, using social media, directories, keeping themselves busy. Like if you're not handling a case, what else are you going to be doing? Like you should be marketing yourself, right? If you have any downtime in your hands, use, to market your services. So I think that today is maybe even easier to start a career as a solo attorney than it was like 10 or 20 years ago.
Yeah, the barriers to entry are definitely lower. We've been talking to Luciano Oliveira, founder of JurisOffice.com. Luciano, where can people go to learn a little bit more about the directory?
Well, if you're ready to get your name in our directory, which is not a bad idea, I mean, it's free, right? It doesn't get much better than that. So you can just go, on the top of our page, there is an add your practice, okay, to the top right of our website. You just go over there, and then you're going to find a free, right? Considering you are a new solo attorney, and you see that this is a special that is going to the end of the month, and you just click on the sign up now, and you can get your profile in our website.
Awesome. Yeah, I got it pulled up right here. Can you see this? I got the site, and this is the page you're looking for. You can just click this sign up now button here, and
get yourself in our directory. Once you see the results, you can migrate, to a paid plan. And if you also need some tips, I'm really happy, to answer to your questions. We have a team, of course. We have other people in our staff, but I myself, I really like this idea of helping, new lawyers. So if you have any specific questions about our directory or some tips on how to get started with your marketing, you can send an email to, info@jurisoffice.com. You can send it to my name. You can say, attention to Luciano Oliveira, and we can engage in a conversation. Just like you said, Matthew, like we are, like a smaller company. So, and I'm really happy, and I think fortunate to engage in a conversation with our members.
Awesome. That's so cool. Thanks for showing people the site, and I appreciate you being on the show today.
There was an opportunity for us. Thank you very much, Matthew.
Thanks for listening to the ESQ Marketing Podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.